Hey guys, it's the Disney Reviewer 2020 here, and oh no guys, I'm about to do my top 5 worst movies of 2020. Yeah, 2020 was an absolute disaster because it's definitely the worst year I've ever had in my life because the pandemic happened, and yeah, hopefully this pandemic will be over by 2021. So yeah, hopefully 2021 can be at least better. So yeah, I will be doing my top 5 best movies of 2020 after I do maybe sometime next week. So yeah, maybe before the new year. So yeah, these are the movies that are absolutely atrocious and never need to exist. So yeah. So, let's get started. Number 5. Number 5, I have Bloodshot. Oh my god. This movie was absolutely atrocious. Like, I watched this movie online, and I have to say this. Wow, this movie was a disaster. And a lot of people think that Trolls World Tour killed movie theaters, but no. No. This movie killed movie theaters. Like, even though movie theaters are still alive, this movie was released when the pandemic was starting, and it bombed massively at the box office, and it deserved it. So yeah, and Vin Diesel in this movie was awful in this movie, and the CGI in this movie was fake as hell, and the CGI, it looks so awful. So yeah, it bombed massively. Yeah, no one even saw this movie. So yeah, so let's move on. Number 4. Did this movie had to exist? Songberg. Wow. I did watch this movie online, and I have to say, on YouTube, it was a complete disaster. Like, this is probably the most unnecessary movie of 2020. Like, do we even need a movie about the pandemic? I mean, nobody's gonna watch it. Like, yeah. And also, thank God this movie didn't get released in theaters because this movie would have bombed at the box office. So, yeah. I'm happy this movie bombed. I'm happy this movie got hated by critics. So, yeah. Yeah, it just got dumped on VOD for no reason. I mean, this movie looked unnecessary, and it's produced by Michael Bay, which, really, Michael Bay, you have to produce this movie. So, yeah. This movie was just atrocious and doesn't need to exist. And the acting in this movie was horrible, and the CGI in this movie was horrible also. And this is probably one of the most unnecessary movies ever existed. And also the most unnecessary movie of 2020. So yeah. So let's move on. Number 3. Number 3, I have Scoob. Wow. This movie was such a letdown. Like, really. This was one of my most anticipated movies of 2020. I was hoping this would be the best movie based on a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. But no. This ended up being a giant disappointment. This movie was originally going to go to theaters, but it got released on VOD because of the pandemic. They had to release on VOD. Yeah, this movie was just such a disappointment. I want to admit there were some positives about it, like the animation's actually great. Blue Falcon's so cool, and even the voice acting's actually pretty good. And also Frank Welker still does a great job as Scooby-Doo, and the actor who played Dynamite in this movie, who was the same actor who played Gobi from Over the Moon, was pretty good. But the rest of the movie is just boring with bland characters, and yeah, I wasn't a fan of this movie. This is definitely the most boring movie of 2020. I mean, if you like this movie, that's cool. That's fine. I'm fine with your opinion, but this movie is just, for me, this movie was boring. I agree with Lumber Archer's back. This movie is so boring. Yeah. I'm just not a fan of this movie, so yeah. So, let's move on. Number two. Number two, I have, oh my god, the Mulan remake. Wow. This movie, has to be, in my opinion, the worst Disney live action remake ever. Like, really. What a disaster. Like, even some people give this movie a pass. This movie got so much controversies. Even got delayed a couple of times. Like, it was supposed to come out March 27th this year, but it got delayed due to the pandemic. They had to delay it to summer on July 24th, and then they delayed it again to August 21st. Now they decided, screw it, we'll we'll just dump it on Disney Plus. Yeah. I watched on YouTube, and oh man, it was a disaster. And to be honest, I don't blame the controversies. It deserved all the controversies it got. I mean, this movie was so bad. I mean, the actress who played Mulan, she was atrocious. She wasn't like the original Mulan. Like the original Mulan, you do care for her, but in this, she's so monotoned. Like she's so annoying. Like really, I didn't even care for her. Like Leah Leafey, she did a horrible performance as Mulan, and even the villain, I didn't even give a crap about the villain. And even the other villain. And don't get me wrong, the actor who played him, he was a good actor. I liked him better as David from Lilo and Stitch, but this, no, he was atrocious. Yeah, and even some people give the CGI pass, but I'm sorry, the CGI looks laughably bad. It looks so bad. And even the ridiculous death scene where the villain gets shot with an arrow, such a ridiculous death scene. Even the action scenes in this movie, they were so bad. This movie tries to be serious, but it ends up being so ridiculous and over the top. It becomes so laughable, and it becomes a comedy as well. It's like a comedy. Like, really. Yeah, watch the original instead. The original's 1,000 times better. Definitely my personal favorite of the Disney Renaissance. So, yeah. So, let's move on. Number one. My least favorite movie of 2020 is... You guessed it. It's Artemis Fowl. Or as I like to call it, Artemis Failure. Wow. What a cinematic disaster it was. This is Kenneth Branagh's worst movie. Even though Kenneth Branagh is a good director, but wow, this movie was absolutely atrocious. Like even the CGI in this movie looks so fake and horrible that I pretty much make fun of it. This is pretty much Pan of 2020. Like wow, I never seen CGI that horrendous. Like definitely one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Like oh my god. Even the actor who played Artemis Fowl, he was horrible and annoying. And yeah, even Colin Farrell in this movie, he was bad in the Dumbo remake, but he was even worse in this movie. So yeah, don't get me wrong, Colin Farrell's a great actor, but this, no. And even Josh Gad in this movie, he was so annoying. He won't shut up, which I like him better as Olaf, but yeah. But, and even the scene where he pulls his jaw, it's so terrifying. It's your family picture. That's something that Soldier Critic and Ralph Bakshi says, because it has terrifying imagery. It's supposed to be a family picture. Yeah, this movie was atrocious. Like I have never seen a Disney movie this atrocious in a long time. Like oh my god, this movie is definitely one of Disney's worst. Like. Oh my god. I mean, I pretty much make fun of it. Like, it's pretty much... Oh my god, this movie was atrocious. And I'm happy this movie skipped theaters because this movie would have bombed at the box office. So yeah, like, I mean, really. This was a terrible movie. Like, I highly recommend you should stay away from this movie. So yeah. Yeah, and I really hope it wins a lot of Golden Raspberry Awards, including for Worst Picture. So yeah, I really hope it wins a lot of Golden Raspberry Awards, fingers crossed, because this movie was atrocious. So yeah, and this is definitely my least favorite movie. This is definitely the worst movie of 2019 and of 2020, in my opinion. So yeah, guys, what do you think of this video? Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe to my channel, and make sure to like this video. So yeah. So, I'll see you guys later, and bye.